Good morning and welcome to the fourth day of the FDP. I'm Zehra Taher from the Department of English, BIET. Today's topic is gamification and language learning. We have with us Dr. Deepak Mashru, management, English literature, mass communication, and computer applications. His doctoral research was on applied linguistics. He is a TESOL certified trainer. He has authored and co-authored more than 20 books. In addition, he has got more than 15 research papers published in peer-reviewed and Scopus Index journals and presented papers at more than 30 national international conferences. He was awarded the Vedant Innovation in Education Award by Vedant Foundation, Pedagogical Innovation Award by Gujarat Technological University, Best Teachers Award by Marwari Education Foundation, and Academic Genius of the Year Award by Genius Foundation. And as an advisory member, he renders his services to many academic institutes and corporates. He works as an assistant professor of English, School of Law, Forensic Justice, and Policy Studies at National Forensic Science University, an institute of national importance, Ministry of Home Affairs, Gandhinagar. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you, sir. Over to Deepak, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Batool ma'am, for a wonderful introduction. To begin with, I'd like to thank Praveen for adding the meaning of gamification in the chat box. I was, I was free. I was looking at the people, those who are from different parts of the nation. They have joined this FDP. At the same time, I congratulate the management for organizing such wonderful FDP. Let's start with the topic, gamification. As Praveen has mentioned in the chat box that the definition of gamification. So we need to understand that how gamification and language learning, how we can incorporate this. Fine. So I'll start the presentation and then we'll have lots of hands-on activities too. Okay. Is it visible, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Great. Okay, fine.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
try to keep the presentation a little bit funky, keeping the topic in mind, gamification. So we'll try to go back to our childhood, and we try to, understand the way we used to play games and what kind of video games. Because when I was in my childhood, I used to play this kind of games, right? So that's why I kept the screen. Okay. So let's start with this.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we'll start with the session objectives. Fine. So I have thought of 5 different objectives that we can cover during the session in next 50-60 minutes time. The first one we'll talk about, we understand the concept of gamification and how it can be applicable to the language learning, specifically when we go to the classroom, right? Second one, what are the benefits of gamification, right? In terms of engaging students, right? How we can motivate them, right? And how we can help the learners to, for language acquisition. Third one, we need to understand that this is a good concept, people talk about it, but how we can integrate, how we can incorporate, right? What are the ways we can do that? So we'll talk about certain strategies in today's session, right? Where we can find out, right, that these are the topics where we'll have interaction, right? We'll talk about the different topics and we'll discuss about the same through some practical strategies. And I'm going to share 2 case studies here in today's session that what I have done with this platform. Next one, that I have selected one platform today, which is a very beautiful one, effective one, where you can create your gamified or interactive animated videos, right, in no time. So how we can do that? And that the name of the platform is Platagon. Now, Platagon platform is something where you can create conversational animated videos on your own. You can design characters on your own, right? And within no time, you can export this video, right? So we'll talk about it. And the last one, to inspire participants with case studies and success stories of gamified language learning initiatives. right? So how we can go for it, how we can, make, initiatives in terms of designing games and all, and how we can bring it to the classroom so that we can make our students more effective learners, right? These are the objectives of the session. I hope that I'm going to cover. At the end of the session, even I'll ask you that whether I could cover all these or not, right? If not, then we may extend it, with the permission, right? Now, the flow of the session would be like this. The first thing that we'll do is we'll understand the gamification. Then we'll talk about the gamification strategies for language learning, right? Third flow, in the third step would be the tool that I'm going to share today is Plotagon, right? Gamified language learning tool, how that tool works. We'll talk about it, right? We'll talk about case study. Then there will be wrap-up session, right? It will summarize all the points. We'll have discussions, and at the end we'll have Q&A, right? So we'll start with the first objective, first flow of the session, understanding gamification. Fine. I want to give you more practical things. That's why I'm not going to theories, because theories you people are you come from I could find that from the chat when you mention about good morning with your name and designation and the name of the college and where are you from. In that case, I feel that theories you can learn, you can find. So we'll go for more practical things. So I covered all these things in one slide only, right? If you look at the gamification meaning, right, features and how it works, right? So in a simplest way, we can say that it helps you to integrate game elements, just like competition, rewards, challenges, right, to the non-game context, right? Now, there are lots of tools. We can start with Google Form even, right? Then quizzes there. In some of the tools I'm going to use in my session today also, right? Where we can find students, feel a kind of competition. They find challenges, and this Generation Z, they love challenges. When you challenge them, they will definitely come out from their cocoon and they will surprise you like anything. Fine. So we can find out the such kind of things. If you add any of the elements, that in that way you are using that gamified way. Now, how gamification can be useful, right? What are the importance of that? I just tried to cover in one paragraph so that we can understand this. Gamification in education promotes active learning. This is a very important thing, right? We have more of teaching in the class, less learning is there, right? So we can promote active learning there. We can increase student engagement. I tell you that after COVID-19 pandemic, right, the engagement ratio in the classroom has decreased dramatically, right? You find that students, they are more screen friendly, right? That you cannot take them away from the mobile screen. Fine. And if you ask them to focus on what you say for 15 minutes is difficult. So here we cannot take out them from that platform, but we can provide something where they can learn, they can use that platform, and you can learn then certain things that we want to teach them. It also fosters a sense of achievement and progress, right? So when they achieve, it can be a simple level, it can be a simple, progress or achievement. They will feel like, okay, they have done something, special. So when we find rewards, when we incorporate certain things, in that way, that will definitely help them. I'll give you an example. What I do is my all presentations, in the classroom, when I go for the presentation, at the end of every 5 slides, I feel that, okay, my class is of 60 minutes. In that case, at the end of every 10 or 12 minutes, there'll be one question. Right? It can be an opinion poll. It can be a true, false, not given. It can be multiple choice question. I ask the question, and they come back to the point. So I mentioned that time to reconnect. Fine. So with that question again, students reconnect with the session in that way. So if there are 4 questions or 3 questions, and at the end of the session, what I do is I ask them. There will be a Google form, right? There will be 5 questions, and that is attendance. If out of 5, 4 questions are correct, in that case, they'll get attendance of the session, right? So there are different ways where we can make students engage in the classroom. Fine. Okay. We can, help them improve the retention, understanding of concepts. When I wrote one book on, personality development for Jacob publication, what I did is at the end of each chapter, I asked one of my students who is a good painter, I asked him to create 3 characters, right? One character was Grandpa, one was Chinky, one was Chintu, right? So these 3 characters, I asked him to draw the line art with all the possible moods, right? For example, sad, happy, confused, all this. And at the end of the chapter, what I did is I created one cloud conversation, right? Where Chinky and Chintu, they ask questions to Grandpa. So whatever you cannot explain, formally, that goes with conversation. And with these 2 pages, you can find the summary of all the things. So then they will definitely attract them. And then when they have any query or question, they can go for it. So there are ways of that. It can cultivate critical thinking and problem solving skills, right? So instead of asking simple question, if you go for a case study, if you give them a case study, in that case, they will definitely come up with new ideas. So this is the way how gamification works, right? Gamification doesn't mean that you create a kind of game and you give them, right? If you go for the next one, language learning can benefit from gamification elements such as leveling up based on proficiency, right? Earning points or wages for completing tasks, right? In that case, they will feel like, okay, they have been distinguished from others. They have something different, unique in that way, and that will give them sense of motivation, encouragement, and they will definitely get attracted towards and connected towards the learning, right? This is the concept of it, right? Okay. In this case, what you can do is you can have more kind of task like storytelling, narratives, right? You can create kind of small goals, right? Try to connect with them. For example, I use Bitmojis in my my presentations. You will find some of the Bitmojis here in the presentation too. Fine. Now, in this generation, everybody has Instagram account. They use Instagram. They use Snapchat. Now, what I did is I used Snapchat's Bitmojis in my presentations. Now, when they look at the presentation, they stay connected. This is something that they do every day, everyday life. So these are certain ways which we can make students engaged. Okay. Now, if you look at the next topic that we can find is gamification strategies for language learning. There are lots of strategies we can form, we can find, we can filter and finalize for our, integrating in our language learning process. But I could find that, broadly, we can find 4 strategies, and we can have some sub strategies under that categories, right? Okay. Now look at it. The first one, as I started the session with the session objective, fine. So here, what we need to do is the first thing first starts with clear learning objectives and align them with the gamified elements. That means what I want my students to learn, what I want them, at the time, as a form of learning objectives or learning outcomes, right? And which objective can be sufficed, achieved by which element. If we can map this, right? Even you can integrate this with Bloom's taxonomy, right? You can go for lots or hots, right? For example, if you're dealing with the classroom, which are of basic level or intermediate level, in that case, you can go for lots, lower order thinking skills. You can think that, okay, which are the gamification or elements, gamified elements, which can help students for learning, for understanding. Fine. For example, in one of the case studies, right, I'm going to discuss that in detail about it, that I could find that students could develop their communication skills, right? And as this is one of the engineering institutions, right, I've taken sample of engineering, students, where engineering students, within 60 to 90 minutes of training, they could create their own videos and they could learn, they could improve their communication skills in all spheres. So this is something that we need to, but for that, what we need to do is we need to find, okay, we need to have a clear learning objectives, that what we want our students to learn, right? And we should have that clarity that how we can map them, how we can align them with the gamified elements. If we can do that, in that case, 50% or more than 50% task is done in that way. Batool madam, I'm going, and a pace is fine, or should I slow down?
Yes, sir. No, sir, you're fine, sir. You can continue.
Okay.
You can continue.
Okay, fine. Because when I go in flow, it maybe, I go fast in that way. So Okay. Second strategy, if we go in that case, we can incorporate points levels, right? Points or levels, badges, and leaderboards. Now, what I do is, what we can do rather, instead of my example, I can give you certain, broad strategies. For example, creating bookmarks. Fine. We can find some good lines for the students. Fine. Some good quotations. Convert into a bookmark and give them. Fine. That can be a smiley or stickers. This is something that teachers do in the nursery, in the LKG, HKG, over there in the first grade or second grade classes. But that definitely motivates them. Fine. So if we have certain kind of thing, in that way, that they will definitely go for it. Even we can divide the class into 4 groups or 4 schools, right? In that way, when we go for such kind of activities, that particular group can be given points, right? So in that way, even definitely they will boost up. They will their level of learning will level up. Fine. Okay. So this is something. Second thing that I wanted to share. Okay. Third thing is very important. How you communicate. Right. Invariably in all my sessions, what I do is when I watch one video on YouTube, right, that was by Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek wrote a beautiful book called Start With Why. And I personally believe that every student, every teacher should read this book. It's a book of 300 pages only. The title is Start With Why. And he has beautifully narrated things in a way. The beautiful thing that I like in that book is the golden circle, described by Simon Sinek. He says that there are 3 layers, right? The outermost layer is of what? The inner layer, that is what we call how. And the innermost layer is why. Now, most of the communication happens outside inside, not inside out. That means we start with what, then we talk about how, and most probably we miss out why. Right? I tried this. I asked students that, what do you do? They said, I do engineering. How do you do that? I go to college. Even I don't like to attend class, I go to college. Why engineering? And there's a question. They smile. So if I know that my why is clear, in that case, my how and what can be clearer. Fine. So considering that concept that we need to communicate from why to what. This notation is very, very smart. If you can convince them this is good for them, they will be there with you. If you fail to convince them, they will never come to your class. Fine. So for that, you need to create immersive narratives, storylines, right? Stories, anecdotes. Fine. So in that case, they will definitely go and they will definitely go for it. Now for that, when you go for the gamification, in that gamification, you need to create such kind of stories which can engage them, which can help them. They feel that, okay, this is something which is good for them. Fine. The fourth one, right, where we feel that, the things which are most important in education that fails, right? Provide immediate feedback and rewards. I was talking to one of my, elder professor some years back. Now we were talking about education system, and I gave him an analogy of dog, where if you talk like this, that if dog is education system, in that case the tail is the assessment, right? Education system should remain constant in the tail that waves. The dog waves the tail. That means assessment system, changes. Now the scenario over here is that the tail waves the dog. Getting my point? So focus is not on learning. The focus is on assessment. Fine. If you look at the Coursera, if you look at edX, if you look at the prominent universities of the world, they have started, they have shifted their intention, motives towards learning instead of assessment. Grading is something that's important. Fine. But thing is that we need to understand that what learning that students could learn, that they could take home. Fine. When we give the mark sheet to the students, that this is, you have got 70%. Now nobody talks about the 30%, which is the weak one. And gradually the students, become master of making the same kind of mistakes. In gamification, we have an advantage where we can provide immediate feedback. This is wrong, that red alarm, ping. So the learner will find, oh, I'm doing something wrong. Now the problem is the learner will come to know about the wrong thing at the end of the final exam when we get the results, which he's not going to repeat anywhere in the in any of his life. So whatever feedback he's getting, right, in terms of marks, grade, score, right, where he will not be able to rectify. When in gamification, it's a place where that learner can improvise, right, what mistake he has done, and that person can come out with the clear learning. This is something that helps. And rewards, right? If you look at if you find the training that it is provided, given to the animals, pets rather, right? So for everything that they have done good or they have obeyed, they are given something, right? So this is the nature. This is psychology, right? If you provide something, reward, it can be a small pen, it can be a pencil, it can be appreciation, it can you just pat on his back, and that's all, right? That reward cannot be the bigger one. It can be a small one, but small appreciation, acknowledgement, recognition will definitely help, that's learners to learn and grow, right? This is something that we can incorporate in terms of what we call it gamification. Are we clear up to now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Okay. So now let's discuss about Plotagon application, right? That's a very important thing. Fine. So what I'll do is next 2 slides or 3 slides, we'll have a discussion on the PowerPoint presentation. Then I'll switch to my mobile phone where we'll have hands-on. I'll show you how we can do this, right? And then we'll come back to the presentation again so that we can have hands-on. And if possible, I guess, we'll be able to do that in 10 minutes time or, 15 minutes time, we'll be able to create small video today on your own. Fine. So this is something that I have thought of. Let's see how it works. Okay. So I'm talking about the okay. So let's talk about the tool, an innovative tool, right? Plotagon is an innovative tool that allows users to create animated videos, right? So here, the best part of this is you can create conversational dialogues, right? There are ways you can either create your, your voice, audio recording, or you can, add the text and the character will, speak out for you, right? And it's not about only English language. There are more than 15 languages which can be incorporated here. Fine. So this is one part. It also provides interactive and engaging platform for learners to practice, right, their language skills in a creative and immersive manner, right? You can add emotions. You can add, actions. The character will speak, keeping his hand on head and speak, right? The character will look down and speak. Fine. So this kind of integration you can do. It's not about simply, text to speech, but it will also give life to the character with whatever kind of, addition or, flavor that we want to add to the character while speaking, while delivering the dialogue that can be made possible. Now, what we can do is, along with the characters, there is a possibility, that you can design and create the scenes, the background. For example, if you want a garden and a bench, right? You can customize this, that one character is sitting on a bench, another character is sitting, standing on the left side, on the right side, right? Both are sitting on the bench, right? Both are standing near the bench. Fine. The person, there's a classroom where teacher is, sitting there. The students are sitting there on the bench, right? So these kind of, setup you can do. For example, there's a kind of drawing room, right? Living room, where 2 characters are sitting on a couch. They're watching, television. Even this can be done. Fine. So you can design any, you can find out any design which is available there. Fine. You can download it, right? And you can customize that scene. You can add as many as characters you want to add. Fine. And you can go for conversation. For every character, it will ask you, right? Even for designing, creating character, you can start with the scratch. You can design the face, the layout of the face, right? Eyes, eyebrows, nose, lips, right? Hair, body structure, clothes, fine. Specs, beard, fine. And including shoes, you can design on your own. You can change whatever you want to do. Fine. You can change the color. You can change the skin color. You can change the hair color. Whatever you want, you can do that. Fine. So this can help you over there to create whatever kind of character that you have thought of. You can create a near to that one, right? So this is the advantage of Protagon application. And there are lots of features. Even you can go and find out more. Some of the features, rather, I would like to talk about 3 most important things that I could come across while using this. Fine. The first one is, as I told you, that it gives you a range of, specifically designed language learning, customizable characters. Fine. Some of the examples I'll show you, and you will love like that, right? You can have diverse backgrounds. You can, you can use different props. For example, you want to use a sword, you can go for it, right? You want to go for a cap, you can use that, So anything that you feel, to make the character realistic, you can use that. Fine. Now, what I had used this platform for my research, I wanted to check that whether the students can improve their communication skills, critical thinking skills, creativity, right, the problem solving skills through this or not, right, by developing dialogues. Because when I speak with somebody, I need to think about my dialogues only. But when I create a conversational video, in that case, I need to play the chess game from the both sides, because black and white, both the players are mine. So that in that case, I need to turn the table. Fine. So I need to understand that, okay, what would be the reaction of my words? So that will give them, right, what to speak, what to be heard, and what to be reacted. So in that way, I use that, and one paper was published, based on this. The third one is Protagon's interactive nature encourages active participation and engagement, enabling learners to practice their listening, speaking, writing, all the skills together. Why? Because you will need to think about it. So you need to type. There's writing, right? You will listen to what others are not speaking. The listening skills will improve. You speak, right? Your speaking skills will be improved, right? And you need to read a lot to create your own dialogues, right? So that will also give you, an edge. Or you can be, an eclectic reader for designing such, conversationals, right? Is it clear up to now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. These are 3 links that I would like to share, right? So that we can think about it, we can talk about it. So before switching to the Protagon application, I like to share a case study in a way. The first link that I'm going to share it's a small video of 1 minute where I appeal my students, right? Creating video using Protagon platform, that you can create your video. Second one is about their work. And the third one is very recently, before 3 days only, I created a video for my low aspirants, my students, right? They can learn, legal terms using this, right? So with the permission, I like to switch to the YouTube to show this video, right?
Yes, sir, you can.
Thank you.
Not common.
Is it visible?
No, sir, it's not visible.
Just a minute. Now?
Now it's visible. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
I'm very excited to share with you people the most dear students. I'm very excited to share with you people the most amazing thing to learn English conversation today. I'm going to share the details of one application that I have come across. The name of the application is Pentagon. It's an amazing application. You can learn how to animate your characters, create the kind of situations. You can record your voice. You can create the character or characters as per your requirement. And you can learn English conversation practice on the back end. Fine. Isn't it amazing? Yes. So this is something we are going to do today. And I am 100% sure that you will like it. So let's explore this new way of learning English conversation. Dear students, let us start with step number 1. Step number 1 is download this application from Google Play Store. I'll share the link in the chat box so that you can click on the link and you can download the application. Then you can create your own character. You can select the plot, that is any scene that you like. You can add music if you wish. And then you start writing dialogues. There are 2 ways. You can type dialogue and that would be spoken by the character designed by you, or you speak by recording.
So this was one explanation. This I did before 2 years. Fine. Okay. Now you'll be surprised to know that what students came up with, surprises that I'll show you. I guess it's visible.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. I compiled some of the videos. These have been created by first year engineering students. So I compiled them. The first one is of Khaleel that the student created.
I think you should just put that money in your purse. She doesn't even care that are you getting a good service or not. No, it doesn't matter that she is giving you a good service or not, but if you don't give her money, then she will have to go through so many consequences. She may also get fired. Hey, may you shut up for a second? I am talking with him. No, I will not, because you are giving him very bad advice. I am giving him a bad advice. You are the one who is giving the wrong advice. I am telling you, don't listen to him. Just put it in and go away. I know that he will give it back. He is a good person. Oh, whatever, we'll see about it. I am confident that he will not. May you both please stop. Hey ma'am, you gave me extra money.
Oh my. Thanks. You saved me from a lot of trouble.
You're welcome. How can someone be this much fool? He is not a fool. He is a good man. Ah, what a fool. Good afternoon, sir.
A very good afternoon, teacher.
Sir,
Even you can add subtitles. This I missed out, right? This was during lockdown where we used to teach online.
am very glad to attend your lecture in front of you. I was eager to meet you, sir.
I am too, dear.
As I think about you, you are look like exactly my imagination.
Thank you for your compliments, dear.
Thank you, sir. Sir, this is your first offline class at college for us. So what we are going to do in this class, I am very excited about it.
Wait for a couple of my new dear. We are waiting for other students.
Okay, sir.
Worried. Let me talk to her. Hey, Shizuka.
How are you?
Met you after a long time. By the way, why do you seem so worried?
Hey, Nobita. I am fine. I missed my train, Batool, and I was planning to search for a place to stay for the night. But suddenly it started raining. Now I am confused what to do.
Well, that's a problem. Why don't you accompany me and my...
Sorry, I haven't seen you in a while.
Shift designer for. Hello.
I am 7. Have a night.
The next one is very interesting. It will take 1 minute more. Sound was very creative.
Hello.
I am 7.
Impress me by your talent.
Okay.
You can add music, background music.
Yes. Very good.
Thank you.
You are qualified for next round. Welcome again, 7.
Thank you.
So what are you going to show us today?
Today I am going to show you my dancing skills.
Okay, let's see what you got.
These are all expressions you can add.
Sorry.
It happens in pressure.
Sorry again, sorriso con goccia di sudore.
Let's start again.
Ok.
Good, we will see you in the next round.
So
Hi, Lizzie.
yeah.
How are you?
This is something that you can you will find that students will do amazingly fantastic things, right? And they'll surprise you like anything. So this is something that you can find. Okay, now the last one which I recently created. I thought that how we can teach legal terms and maxims to the students is very difficult for them to understand. So I created one conversation between Arjun and Krishna. Fine. So they talk about Bhagavad Gita through Bhagavad Gita. It's a situation where they are there at the Kurukshetra. And he has dilemma whether to fight or not. I integrated legal terms in that. Right? What are the legalities? Right? And then the video was created. And it was well received by the students. Right? Just a minute. Okay. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is visible.
Krishna, I stand here on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, filled with uncertainty and doubt. How can I justify engaging in this fierce war against my own kin? My heart is heavy with the weight of these moral dilemmas. Arjuna, I understand your predicament, but we must delve into the essence of our actions. Remember, actus non facit rum nisi mens agree. It is the intention behind our deeds that determines their righteousness or wrongfulness. But Lord Krishna, how can I bear to raise my weapon against my own cousins, uncles, and beloved teacher? It goes against my very nature to harm those I love. Would it not be unjust to act in such a way? Arjuna, you must not forget that nemo dat quod non habet. Each individual possesses their own agency and choices, and they bear the consequences of those choices. While you may feel love and affection for them, they have made their own decisions, and you must honor the path you are destined to follow. But what about the laws and rules that govern us? How can I ignore the moral and ethical code that guides our actions? Does ignorantia legis manem excuse not hold true in this situation? The laws and codes are indeed important, Arjuna, but sometimes they must be seen through a deeper lens. Remember, pacta sunt servanda, agreements and promises must be upheld. In this instance, the righteous path lies in fulfilling your duty as a warrior and upholding the cause of righteousness. Lord Krishna, I fear the consequences of this war. Can we not find another way to resolve our conflicts? Must we resort to violence and bloodshed? Does execution jurors none but injure him not prevail in this situation? Arjuna, violence should always be the last resort, but the Yusufi remedium principle reminds us that where there is a right, there must be a remedy. We have exhausted all peaceful options, and now it is time to restore justice by fighting for what is right. Remember, damnum sine injuria. Sometimes temporary harm is necessary to preserve righteousness. I understand, Lord Krishna, but I still struggle with the idea of causing harm to others. Is there no way to avoid causing injury while upholding justice? Can we not find a middle path? Arjuna, we must recognize the distinction between injurious and damno and not punirate dear. Injustice without harm and the choice to either punish or forgive. As we engage in this,
Okay, so I hope that you like this, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I guess
Yes, yes.
now if you download a Protagon application and if you go through it in next 30 minutes or 1 hour time, you'll be able to create your own videos. Fine. So you can go through it and you can go for it because we have very less time. I thought that if you can complete this in lesser time, in that case, we'll be able to go for hands-on. But I guess it's very easy. Yeah, there was while I was browsing the chats, I could find that you can use your laptop. This Protagon application is available for both the versions. You can go for Android mobile or you can even go for desktop. Fine. So if you're using a laptop, in that case, you can download this. And yeah, for if you want to go for licensed version, it charges only $3 per month. Right, that is less than 200 rupees per month, which can give you all the facilities that you can think of to create your own videos. Fine. Okay, up to now, any questions? I'm a typical teacher, so I keep on asking my students.
Participants, if you have any queries, you can just type in your chat box.
So in next 60 minutes time, you can be the champion to create your own amazing videos, right? And I'll be more than happy if you can, upload their YouTube account, YouTube channel, and share to me via madam, right? So that we can find, okay, this is something what we thought of that learners can do, teachers can do. In that case, we can find that, okay, the session was worth attending, right? One of the tools that I keep on using for my online sessions, that is Padlet. I'm sure that some of you people might have heard about this Padlet. Padlet is something where you can find your feedbacks, your expressions, your emotions, right? Whatever you want to share, you can share there. Fine. So what I do is I'm sharing this link in the chat box to everyone and request everyone to click on it. This is the place where you can share your feedbacks, your expressions, and how it looks. I'll show you. This is the canvas where you can click on this plus button and you can write. I can find that some people have started typing. Fine. So we'll spare 5 minutes for here. This is another task or strategy where we can find people's feedback, what students have learned, right? I've named it as what is take home today. One beautiful incident happened. It was rather interesting too. I wanted to show one video to my students, and I had brought one small pack speaker, right? It was from XP Mini company, Japanese speaker, a small one, but it got 5 watt. So I showed them the video and I asked my students, what is take home? And one student spoke that your speaker. right? So sometimes, we never know that what students are observing. I thought that they are watching the video and one of the students were watching the speaker, right? This something happens unless and until you don't get the feedback, you don't get to know that what exactly was communicated. In communication, sometimes people say that, you are only responsible for what you speak and not for the people what they understand. But as a teacher, when we're in the classroom, we are held responsible. We should be responsible for both what we speak and what students understand. Okay, somebody has mentioned. So we'll go for 2 minutes more. If you get 5-7 responses, we can go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for the insightful lecture and sharing information about Plotagon. And we have one question from Zoom platform from Selvi. Any pronunciation tool available? The question is, any pronunciation tool available?
Okay, pronunciation, for pronunciation, what you can do is you can simply, there are lots of AI tools now available. Fine, you can go to futurepedia.io. Fine, and you will find lots of tools there. Fine, that can help you. For pronunciation, what I used to do is I used to, I have used WhatsApp for that. I asked my students to download, Gboard keyboard that is there in the WhatsApp, and using that mic, because Google has one of the largest library for text to speech. Because I also work for Google, right, as one of the crowdsourced influencer. So we work on that, so I know about it. So whatever there is, whatever you want to speak, and you want to see that where my students, want to improve, right? In that case, you use that speak a mic button and speak whatever you speak there. The words which are not properly typed are the words where one has to work on. And then if you toggle from Gboard to Grammarly keyboard, in that case, whatever the underlines are there, you need to work on the grammar. This is the way, without downloading anything, right? You can use whatever in daily life. For example, WhatsApp is something that everybody use it, right? In every 20 minutes time, one user uses WhatsApp. Fine. Some of you people definitely would have checked 3 or 4 times at least, their WhatsApps during this session even. Fine. So if you can find something, if you can do something, right, where they can use their WhatsApp tool and they can improve their pronunciation, that can be the best way.
Sir, we have one more question from Ms. Angleshwari from Zoom platform. Her question is, which is the best app for practicing fluency?
Which is the best way to practice fluency? Okay.
App, sir. Which is the best
application.
app? Yes, sir.
Okay, I need to check. Generally, if you can go for BBC radio, 6 minutes radio, that can help you. Fine. See, fluency goes with articulation of thoughts. Fine. So if you are good with first language, you can definitely be with the second language. The problem is about translation. Fine. So what I suggest is, what you can do is, if you can find out something. For example, there are lots of creative things. creative tools which you can use. Fine. I don't have come across any specific tool regarding that, but you can search and find out. Fine.
Okay, sir, we have one more question from YouTube from Soumitra Sarkar. And the question is how to engage reluctant students or learners.
Can you please repeat the question?
How to engage reluctant students or learners.
Okay. Reluctant students or learners, that means, they don't want to come out from their own way, in that ways, this gamified way can be the best ways, right? Because if you challenge them, they will come out. They have certain things, but they don't want to come out, right? In that way, you need to use a reverse psychology. Fine. So if you make them, in a team, right? If you have a combination of team where this kind of students are there along with the other students, in that way, if you make them, the leader, in that way, they will definitely lead. Fine. So here you need to use psychology for this. Fine.
Yes, sir. We have one more question from YouTube. How to evaluate students on Platagon platform, sir?
Okay. In Platagon platform, what I did is they will submit the videos, right? So you can evaluate the videos, number one. Second thing, I also created a kind of questionnaire where I form the questions regarding their content creation, the challenges that you could find, what are the features they have used. Fine. And based on those questions, analyze that questionnaire, and I could find that what learners could learn up to what level. So in that way, using questionnaire additional tool, we can try to quantify learning in a way.
Okay, so thank you so much, sir. The session was really very interesting. And on behalf of BIET, I convey my gratitude to our speaker, Dr. Deepak, for accepting our invitation. And special thanks to all our wonderful participants. This is Zehra Tahir signing off. The session continues tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Participants, please, feedback form is being shared in the chat box. Fill it up immediately. And it is also shared on YouTube live streaming. I just request the participants to fill the feedback form